Hello, Cupcakes! We got an incredible new comic book day review video for you because this week has been a banger. It's been a banger. We got the 3 DC Next Level books, including Lobo, we've got Batwoman, we've got Deathstroke. We also picked up the new Invincible Bell Beast. So, without further ado, let's check out the video. You can see me, my time is now. Okay guys, so we'll start things off with Deathstroke the Terminator. So in case you didn't know Deathstroke, I'm a massive Deathstroke fan. So Deathstroke the Terminator is Slade Wilson. He's like a mercenary and he has some really good runs by some exceptional writers. And I say exceptional, I mean exceptional. So you've got Marv Wolfman, who did his origin story during the New Teen Titans run. This was during the 80s, and he had a solo series because he was such a popular character. So that's Deathstroke essentially. And in this one run, he goes to like Vietnam, and he has to face his demons, and it's basically him being an assassin and also associated with Teen Titans. That's his backstory. So he fought in Vietnam and whatnot, and this art is sublime, and this is a great run by Marv Wolfman. So if you haven't read this, I would suggest you please check it out. Then you had the amazing Kyle Higgins run from New 52. This is again, you can jump into any of these runs without any prior knowledge to the character, and then they will fill you in, right? So again, Deathstroke is an assassin. He's Slade Wilson. His supporting cast includes his wife and then his 3 kids. Those are important. So his kids, he's got Grant Wilson, I guess he's got Rose Wilson, and who else is there? Jericho, I guess, yeah, Jericho. So he's got 3 kids, 2 sons and 1 daughter, and they play the supporting cast. Along with that, he's got a guy on the chair called William Wintergreen, who plays a significant role in his life. He's like his weapons guy and his comms guy. So he keeps on getting him contracts and whatnot. But this Kyle Higgins run is also phenomenal, amazing. Then you have your Tony Daniel run, which is basically, again, it takes him to makes him interact with the rest of the DC universe. This gives this God killer storyline exceptionally is really good. Look at that artwork, man. So he gets this God sword forged by Hephaestus. From Themyscira, from the Greek mythology, and he's supposed to he gets a contract to assassinate a god. I mean, that's how good he is as an assassin, right? So yeah, so this is bombastic. He teams up with Wonder Woman. Great run, man. Tony Daniel really killed it. And then you have the exceptional run by Christopher Priest. This is more exploratory run, it takes a look into his psyche and his backstory, and of course deals with his family and his assassination missions and not. If you haven't read this is also an amazing run. All of this is available in omnibus format and collected editions like trade paperbacks and stuff. This is Joshua Williamson, who did one of the most recent Deathstroke Incorporated runs. So this one is also an amazing one. So he teams up with Black Canary, and he has to take down an organization called the Trust, right? And you've got Talia al Ghul here. Again, bombastic run. They throw him in space, and the Canary and the Deathstroke team-ups are super fun, right? They take down the Hive here, and yes, phenomenal. So every Deathstroke comic I have read, I have not been disappointed at yet. And this being the latest one, this is the year 1 by Ed Brisson. So again, I'll show you, this is a hardcover. So you have this amazing, gorgeous cover by Francisco Di Martina. What an amazing cover, man. So yeah, so again, why am I showing you all of this Deathstroke? Because just to prove that, I have read a lot of Deathstroke, and I'm kind of a massive super fan of Deathstroke. But essentially, amongst all these greats like Marv Wolfman and, Tony Daniels and Christopher Priest, how did Tony Fleeces do? Because this is a book by Tony Fleeces and Carmine Giandomenico on art. How did they do? Let's ask Deathstroke himself. Deathstroke, how do you think Tony did? He did good. Oh, okay, fair enough. He did amazing. He did gangbusters. Yeah, they did gangbusters. They really understood who the character is, and they have a good overview of this. So essentially what this book is about is Deathstroke gets a mission. He gets a mission to kill someone, but this is something called as a blind kill, right? So what that means is that they know that a person is in a certain area, but they don't know who he is, and they're getting that information as and when they go, right? So Wintergreen is in his ear, and he's basically telling him, okay, go here, go there, go to this complex now. So they finally reach this facility, you can see that there are a lot of guards and stuff, like mercenaries guarding them. So Wintergreen, kind of advises him that, okay, I think you should do like a stealth kill. But Deathstroke is like, no, 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 no. I am Deathstroke. I don't do stealth kill. I go all guns blazing. I go all bombastic. So what he does is he jumps on this van, fixes it with all explosives and stuff, and he goes all boom, 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 gun blazings, right? So essentially, the whole book is that assassination mission. But there is something happens in the end that will hook you so good, because there are stakes in this book, and they're big stakes, right? So and that's basically the plot of it, right? So it's an assassination mission which leads to an end, and which leads to like a conclusion that will force you to go to your local comic book store when issue 2 of this book drops, right? So this is a 10 on 10 for me. I really loved it. I really love the art. I really love the story. This is a Kyong Om variant cover for Deathstroke. The regular cover is just this one, which is also dope. So I would 100% recommend you to read Deathstroke from this DC Next Level stuff. All right, moving on, we've got Lobo from Scotty Young and Jorge Corona, part of the Next Level event. Again, so this is so Lobo was done by it was a popular character in the 90s. He's also like a mercenary, but he's a space mercenary, right? He's a bounty hunter, and the most remarkable Lobo run ever done was by Simon Bisley, and that's all collected in a compendium format. So if you want to check Lobo out from the 90s, he's a big popular character when I was growing up, because he was like this dirt talking, heavy metal listening, and all kind of bro guy, right? So a man's man, right? So he doesn't care about anything, right? He's not a superhero, he's not an anti-hero. What is he? So this one is again a retelling of Lobo, and Jason Momoa is going to play Lobo in the new Supergirl movie. That's going to be awesome. But this one, what this tells is, this is basically essentially the elevator pitch of this book by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona, whose art is phenomenal, is that it's Lobo versus Netflix. So basically, Lobo is in the bounty hunting business, as I said, right? So, but Netflix as a company, they're a greedy corporation. They do like entertainment and reality TV show and all. They buy the bounty hunting business, like all of it. Like every person who's like has bounties up, and Lobo captures the target and like gets money. They have taken over all those businesses, and Lobo's not happy about it, right? So he goes to this bar. It's called the Chug and Lug. And then they give you like a whole a short backstory of Lobo. Like he's a Zarian, so he's like indestructible. He's stronger than a Kryptonian, which is basically Superman here. So they give you like a backstory, but then in this bar, he learns that, he was after this particular guy. So he was chasing this guy as a bounty, but turns out that that bounty is now cancelled, because the guy who had the bounty on his company has been bought by that Netflix corporation, right? I think it's called the Omni Mega Entertainment Corp. So they have taken over, and Lobo's not happy about it, and he's going to have some words, with those bastiches, as he says. So that's what essentially the book is. It's a very from a story perspective, this is like it's a good jumping on point, A, and then B, it's like just the first chapter of a larger story, right? So nothing too crazy in this book, but they definitely nail the vibe of Lobo, right? They definitely get the arc of why Lobo is famous and why people like him. They definitely get the way he talks, right? So Scotty Young is amazing, phenomenal, and this is the team that also did Midwest, which I really enjoyed. But this is the main man, Lobo, issue 1 for you. All right, the last next level book from DC we have is Batwoman. So this one is Kate Kane. So she's Batwoman. She's created by Greg Rucka and J.H. Williams III. That run I think it was in somewhere early 2000s, was a phenomenal run. This is by Rucka again, and the art is by Danny. So this has essentially Kate Kane is Batwoman, and she basically also has a little bit of family drama similar to what Deathstroke has. So she basically fights with her sister, her twin sister, who was captured when she was a kid, and she turns into this evil sort of her Jokerized version, right? And she fights. So right where Kate Kane finds herself is, so she's on Greece. She's in this institute, and she's kind of like they're sedating her, and she's got this psychologist. How did she get here? What happened? What went on? They give you a little bit of flashback, but everything is not clear in issue 1, right? So but then but she remembers, she recollects, she's very sad that she had to do something with the death of her sister, and that's this character, the sister character, you saw on the first page. This is her, right? So yeah, so and then basically it's about her trying to there are a lot of flashbacks of her fighting the sister's goons, and somehow the sister is doing some sort of a ceremony which is probably going to bring in Darkseid. So but they don't explain everything in this one because this is just a issue 1, right? But essentially it's all about what went down in the past and how did Kate Kane end up in this asylum. And you got to read to find out, man. So but one thing I'll say about all of these 3 next level issues is these guys, these are so what is the next level? So the next level initiative is to focus on these smaller characters and give them big bombastic massive runs, amazing runs like a Batman or a Superman gets, right? So that's what they're trying to do, and they've been nailing it, and the creative teams are awesome, and they've been on to a very good start. I would give Deathstroke definitely an 8.5 out of 10. Lobo would be probably my 7.5 out of 10, and then this one is a 7 out of 10 for me. But still, they are great starting on points, great jumping on points, definitely worth your time and your money. Alright guys, my last book for DC is Kyle Stark's End of Life. Steve Pugh does the art on this one. So in issue 1, you've got this assassin guy, and he is basically now become the target of all the assassins. So all the assassins of the world are chasing him because he did something wrong, right? And this is him trying to escape. And he also has this lady friend who's his girl in the chair or something, and then she basically advises him. So essentially the whole book is about him running away and trying to find out why are all these assassins after him. So I was impressed with issue 1 of this. I like the artwork by Steve Pugh, and I like that he's like a John Wick kind of character, and everybody's after him and he's on the run. That's for a reason why I bought this is the DC Vertigo line, and this is End of Life issue 2 for you. Okay, let's jump on to Marvel Comics. So from Marvel, I've just bought 2 books. So this is the Cyclops issue number 2. So as I mentioned before, that Alex Packnadel did the Sentinel series in the last X-Men run. That's the only book I liked out of all the X books. The other X books are just not working for me. But because Alex Packnadel's name is on here, and you've got Cyclops, who I love, so I bought this. This is like a standalone story where Cyclops is on a mission to rescue this mutant girl, and she's on an island, and then there are a bunch of Reavers, cybernetic people, who are trying to target him, and they shoot down Scott's basically jet. And what happens is in issue 1 he loses his visor, right? So he's now blind, and all these Ravagers are hunting him, and and the little girl's on the run. And basically Scott finds her, and the Scott and this little girl, Scott is not basically has his eyes closed, so he's handicapped and have to make a run, and that's what the story is about, right? So again, Alex Packnadel, art looks okay, and this cover was amazing. Cyclops is doing what Cyclops does best, which is shoot beams from his laser eyes and be a leader, man. So yeah, it's great that they handicapped him, because then it gives us, he uses more of his other skills, and even the girl can defend herself apparently, she can kick through a tree apparently. So yeah, so what's not to like, man? But that's Cyclops issue 2 for you. Then another thing is I picked up, which caught my eye, was the Sentry. There's a new Sentry series. So Sentry, again, if you don't know, was created by Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee back in the day, right? In early 2000s, again, I want to say, when the New Avengers run and everything was coming up by Bendis. So he's Robert Reynolds. He's the Sentry, right? He's got a dark character from The Void also. If you've seen the Thunderbolts movie, you know who he is. But his stories are amazing, and I'm a massive Sentry fan. So massive fan that, I have this action figure of him. This is from his New Avengers run. So they made 3 or 4 versions of this action figure. And there's also the New Avengers comic with the Sentry behind him. So yeah, so I am a massive Sentry fan, just like I'm a Deathstroke fan, right? So again, I had to pick this up. But again, this is a fresh start for the Sentry. I think the last Sentry book was last year, but it was a team-up book. So there is also a Sentry omnibus, which you can read to catch up everything that has been done on Sentry. But essential reads are the Paul Jenkins run. So who he is he's like a forgotten hero. They retcon him in the Marvel continuity. He was there, he was the greatest superhero on the planet, but everybody forgets him because Reed Richards does something happens, right? That's in the Paul Jenkins original series. But again, he's essentially Superman, but he also has this dark side called the Void. right? And he's got the power of the 10,000 suns. That's what the sentry is, right? He can do anything, and the only his worst enemy is himself, his psyche, that is the void, right? So yeah, so I'm curious to check this out. It's a new sentry run. I'm glad that they're giving him some love. I think it's a mini series. I'm not sure if it's an ongoing or not, but I'm curious to check this out, man. This is Sentry issue 1. Okay, we let's jump on to Image Comics. So Image Comics, we've got this is basically uh, this is James Tinian the Fourth, Exquisite Corpses, and this is an Invincible variant where Invincible is fighting the Fox Killer. So what this is basically like there is a town, small town, and there are a bunch of these assassins fighting out, and they are all backed by one of the mafia families in the U.S. And whoever wins gets control of the entire United States. That's basically it. And right now we're down to like 4 killers, I think, the final 4, and we're closing the end, reaching the end, and so you've got your Fox Killer. She's still alive. She's my favorite. So hopefully she wins, but we'll see. But essentially, it's about the town and these assassins fighting it. The town's been shut down completely. And then you have all of these residents trying to figure out what's going on. All the communications are down. And there's this whole big watch party going on for the rich who are watching all these assassins kill each other. Meanwhile, discussing like, whose player is going to win. So it's a great book. This is on its 11th issue. I don't know till when it's going to go. But I'm sure like, there are like 4 players left. So in the end, you get like a match scorecard, like who's left and who's killed. So you get to know like, okay, this is what. So I think essentially down there like 4 or 5 of them just left. So it's like in the final legs. But I'm enjoying this. I've collected all of this. So James Tinian the Fourth doing what he does best, which is make good comics. Okay, the next one is based on an H.P. Lovecraft novel. This is The Thing on the Doorstep. So I really enjoyed issue 1 of this. This is by Simon Burks and Billy Roberts, who does the art. So this is by Top Cow from Image. And essentially what this is so there are these 2 guys, they're best of friends. One comes to the other, meets him after years and years, and they give you like flashbacks of their like other encounters. But the final encounter they have is this guy comes in, the other guy is like in an asylum, the sane guy comes to meet the insane guy, and then he basically shoots him. So what went down, why did he want to shoot him, right? That's the end of issue 1. So why did he want to shoot him? That's what we try to find out, what went down. Again, based on an H.P. Lovecraft tale. I really dug the whole morose artwork on this and the horror vibe. So this is one of those books like, it's kind of psychological horror, and it's not exactly like demons and creatures and whatnot, but we'll see where it goes. I'm really liking it. I'm really digging it. But that's The Thing at the Doorstep, issue number 2 for you. All right, then we have G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, la 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 la. So this one is essentially, this is issue number 20 of G.I. Joe. So this is the first issue after 20 issues. So you get a lot of like mass characters because this is Matt Tracker. So they're going to get a solo series too by Dan Waters and Piper. And this one is basically the first meeting of Duke from G.I. Joe and Optimus. And I said Optimus because and he's not a Prime anymore, right? That's because what happened in Transformers issue number 30. Some people did not like it, absolutely hated that, but basically he gives the matrix of leadership to Elita 1. So he's just Optimus now, he's not Optimus Prime anymore. So if you see here, Optimus Prime, I am Prime no longer, right? So that's what is happening. But yeah, but this is Duke's first confrontation or first encounter with the Autobots, and he doesn't trust the Autobots. He's just trying to, gain his trust on it, gain his trust with these robots, and trying to figure out like what exactly they are and how to best defend humanity. But essentially that's what G.I. Joe issue number 20 is. It's a great issue, great cover, Cobra Commander, Destro, you've got all the goods, Joshua Williamson and Andrea Milana. All right, this is something I was like really excited for. This is Invincible Battle Beast. Doing another, so they did a 6-issue first 6-issue arc, which was phenomenal. This is Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley, and this is Invincible Universe Battle Beast. So this is Todd McFarlane's cover. So this is restarting off as the second arc of the Battle Beast universe. So in the first arc, you met Battle Beast wanted to kill himself because he's like, there's nothing left for me. I just want to die. I just want to be bested by someone because I am the greatest fighter on the planet. So in doing so, he finds this artificial intelligence, this space computer, right? And this Princess Salaka, who's basically on a planet, and he's the ruler of a planet, but that's taken over by this lady called this monstrous queen called the Juggernaut, and he enlists Battle Beast and this sentient computer's help, AI computer's help, in order to defeat her. And the story continues that this is her. She's called the Juggernaut, right? And she rules this planet with tyranny. And Princess Salaka and Battle Beast and the sentient computer, they take over. They take on her. There's some Viltrumites thrown in the mix now because this is the Invincible universe, right? So, but this is off to a very good start. It's an amazing book. Ryan Ottley is still kicking ass and taking names, and Kirkman does what Kirkman does best. So yeah, this is the second arc of Invincible Universe, Battle Beast, issue number 2. And the last one is Deadly Tales of Gunslinger Spawn. This is Jimmy Palmiotti and Patrick Reynolds. It's amazing to me that I've bought a Spawn book consistently for like 14 issues. This is basically one of the best Western books out there. So you've got Gunslinger Spawn, and he's helping this this Native American lady in order to find this Captain Lane. It's basically a revenge tale because Captain Lane executed her family, so he's helping her out. But the story is really good, right? So they go through towns and cities, and they have their adventures in order to find this guy. And Patrick Reynolds is kicking on the art, and Jimmy Palmiotti is like phenomenal on the story, right? And this is probably the best Spawn book out there, in my opinion. Right, from in terms of King Spawn, in terms of all the tie-ins, in terms of Scorched, in terms of Gunslinger Spawn, in terms of like regular Spawn title, I think this is the best, right? And this is the most accessible one also, because you don't need to know any of the Spawn lore. This is just a Western guy. If you just replace Spawn out of here and just put a regular Western character, it works because it's a great Western story in the end. And so if you like Red Dead Redemption and that kind of stuff, this is just a supernatural Red Dead Redemption, basically like the Undead Nightmare, and this is an amazing story. But anyway, guys, I think I've taken a long time. This is what it is. That's the haul. Again, Deathstroke says thanks you. Deathstroke asks you to like, share, and subscribe this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys.